Hello, hello, Rise and Thrivers. Welcome to Monday, July 22nd. It is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are Rise and Thrive Together, your live webcast talk show. And before we begin, everything that we are going to continue with for this month's theme, let me bring my sister, Dr. Raquel, up. Let me tell you a little bit who we are. We are Rise and Thrive Together, a vibrant community committed to educating and empowering and equipping you to get the results that you want through real talk, taking some real actions so that you can have real results that you want right now. And with that, you can find us. Obviously, if you're here watching us, you're either on our YouTube channel, Rise and Thrive Together, you're possibly on our Rise and Thrive Together Facebook page, and then we are on my LinkedIn at Regina Rossi Lamoth and Raquel Stewart's Facebook page and my personal Facebook page, and here for you coaching and fitness. So with all of that, welcome, 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 Rise and Thrivers. Welcome to episode 64 on Reclaiming Your Power. Hey, sis, welcome to our episode 64.
Yay! That sounds like a Star Trek
I know.
series.
We are. We're in Star Trek, the series.
I'm like, what? Hey, Rise and Thrivers. So good to be here with you. For me, it feels like we haven't been here in a long time. It's so weird because, like, we were just here last week with our fabulous guest, Joey. Hopefully, you got to watch live or the replay and just check out the behind the scenes with him because he was talking about a new project that he is going to embark on. And it was absolutely incredible. Got so much from him, so many different nuggets. And this has been an incredible conversation about taking back your power and what that means. And we've talked about being in community. We've talked about um, doing introspection. We had Joey mention those AIM, which is add value, make a difference, enrich people's lives. He talked about the CC test, contribute, and contaminate. So I'm going to throw this question out there to the audience. Join us, chime in. We definitely want to hear what you have to say. Is there, in this conversation of reclaiming your power, and we've been covering this for the whole month of July, right? And we'll wrap it up next week. Have you noticed an either an area of your life where you are contributing to your life or an area of your life that you are contaminating your life? And if so, what is that area? And now that you realize and recognize it and you're made aware of it, what are you going to do to change it if you're contaminating your life? If you're contributing to your that area of your life, how can you contribute more? Or is more necessary? Okay? So while you guys are getting your fingers warmed up to type all of that, so sis, I'll throw it to you. In this conversation of reclaiming your power, is there an area or areas of your life where you are contributing and or contaminating?
I love it. Because the first thing that like easily comes to my heart is I claim myself as somebody who's a contribution. Like every single day, if starting with a contribution to myself, the way I start my morning,
Mhm.
right? That is the way that I feel like I contribute to my well-being, mind, body, and soul. Right? So I have this new mantra, guys, this month. I don't even think I told you, Raquel. I wake up every morning. It's in my phone, and it's like sort of like the first thing when I wake up in the morning, check my calendar, and I say, not basically, I say, putting my hand on my heart, open up my eyes, even when I'm brushing my teeth. I'm like, thank you, Heavenly Father, for your unwavering support and contribution. It's interesting you said contribution, right? Contribution to my life
Mm.
with, right? With little steps. and little actions, I will achieve great things. And that is the way I've chosen for July to contribute to myself. Once I'm connected for me and source, and for me that's God, and I am like in total gratitude and always thanking and knowing unwavering support. That is like unconditional, doesn't matter what is coming at me. I know life is for me. I fill myself up with that confidence, with that source, with that belief that is my value, my belief system. Then out there starts that day, right? And so that's how I contribute to myself. And throughout, then how can I contribute? Because the rest of my morning is Lexi and Josh, right? The first two people, my cat, right? And then going out there into the world. And that is constantly a source of, I would say, I'm a contribution, right? For anybody who's watching and knows me, feel free to share. Yeah, Regina, you've been a contribution, or no, you haven't been a contribution, because I'd love to know if I'm contaminating. It's true. Like, here's the truth, real talk. Do you know that you contaminate something in a relationship? Let's just say an outside relationship, like Raquel and I, we have an outside relationship with one another. It's, I wouldn't know if there's something that's not working in our relationship unless you tell me, right? Because in my
Right.
world, in my experience, I'm moving right along and thinking we're contributing to one another, we're rising and thriving together. So that's area number one, I can say, into contribution, starting with myself, and then engaging. Contaminating is interesting because I would say to me, contaminating myself first is, and then of course others, is when you realize that moment in time when you're not in gratitude, right? When you're like annoyed, when you're frustrated, when your whole entire kind of, I'd say, way of being, if it's either a physical, emotional, or verbal, is when I feel like it's contaminating. And what came to me right now was I was driving home and it's raining here. And Lexi and I are having the best time in the car. And then somebody cuts off and goes away. And like in that second of like, in that second of joy and being present with my daughter, there's, of course, an obvious, right? Making sure we're safe. And so that's a quick little like, ah, and then like easily take a breath and go back to the joy. But no, I contaminated that moment.
Hmm.
Frustrated, right? And like da 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 da, and I couldn't stop. Like when we're stopping in the store, and all Lexi said was, "Mommy," and I've shared this before, guys. Take a breath. We're safe. We're good, right? So she was contributing to me, and that's interesting because what I will do now for my introspective work is like, what was really going on there? What was really going on that had me stay in that cycle more than, I mean, it was, I would say for her, a good like 20 seconds, 30 seconds now. For other people, that might not seem a lot, but in a child's world and in my world, like 30 seconds can seem like a long time. You get 30 seconds to be here with us. What did they say? Now I think in football, like when you do the Super Bowl, 1 minute is $1 million.
Hmm.
1 minute to speak during Super Bowl commercial is $1 million. So 30 seconds is a half a million. Imagine financially. So 30 seconds of my daughter's life is like five, $500,000 worth of frustration. Like, so that's what I can say to you in contamination. I think that's the part where we are disconnected and there's something else going on. So I want to look at that and see, how did that go? I mean, I know why, but why did it stay so long?
Hmm.
Because I'm interested in sort of like moving through that easily. What about you?
Okay. So I like to always end on a positive, so I'll start with the contamination part. And the areas of my life that I contaminate, and that is, how can I phrase this? The areas of my life that I contaminate, and I contaminate with my words, right? And we've talked about your words creating your world, right? You can speak life. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. You get to choose which one you're going to speak into your life. And it's not that I speak death necessarily into areas of my life, But what I'm starting to find is in the area of my personal life, I'm like, I'm just over it. I may be meant to be alone for the rest of my life, and I have to be okay with that. Not everyone is meant to be married, right? And I have to get to a place where I'm okay with that and not necessarily speak down on having a significant other. And instead of saying, oh my God, I'm so over this. Yeah, I'm over it, but I'm also waiting on God. And if He sees fit for me to have a partner, then great, I'll have one. But in the meantime, I'm not staying in that mode. So here's the contribution, right? I'm not staying in that mode. I am doing what I need to do to attract the partner that I want. And that is for me staying in my lane. So, how I contribute to myself is making sure I'm staying in my lane, I'm being true to me, and I'm having some conversations. And I say conversations with God. You pray, but it more sounds like I'm having a conversation if anyone overhears what I'm saying. And that's just where I am. That's how I can contaminate an area. So I down it. It's like, oh, I'm over this. And it's not I'm over wanting a partner. What I'm over is the online dating stuff. I gotta say, I'm absolutely over that. That for me is that's a wrap, right? That's all, folks. That's what Bugs Bunny used to say. The end of his show, it was like, that's all, folks. That's it. So that's how I contribute and an area of my life that I contaminate um, at the same time, at different times. It doesn't matter. But before I notice no one's chatting about this. Now, come on now, let's be honest and open with self, right? Because the only person you'd be lying to really and truly is you. You can tell us anything, but then only you know the truth. So before we go any further, I do want to give a special shout out to my niece Kayla, who drove up today from Maryland to spend time with me to help me. We're hosting a tea party in early August. The organization that I volunteer with, we're hosting a tea party, and she came up to bring flowers to use to decorate and give me ideas, get me organized. And the most important part is today's her birthday.
Oh,
So happy birthday, Kayla. Absolutely love and appreciate you for who you are, for you taking your special day and spending with me. And then my parents came over and we went and got her cake and ice cream. So it's absolutely tremendous. And people contribute to your lives. That may seem like something small, but this was her birthday and she spent it just getting me organized. So I truly appreciate you. And it's nice to tell the people in your life that you appreciate them while they're alive. After they've passed away, eh, they don't know. We like to think that, yes, they hear that, but they want to hear it when they're alive. So appreciate and value the people in your life. Okay?
I love
So
it. How do we
thank
spell
you.
Kayla? Kayla?
Kayla, yes.
All
So
right. We're
happy
doing a
birthday,
special
Kayla.
shout out to Kayla, Raquel's niece, and then Chrissy. Chrissy's, I think, 3 hours behind us. Chrissy, thanks for jumping on. She gives a
Thank
big
you.
happy
I'll say thank
birthday.
you for Kayla.
Yay for Kayla. Happy birthday for Kayla. All right. So I know there are people on here because guess what? We have the blessed opportunity to be able to have this amazing, system that tells us. So reminding you rising thrivers, you're on here. Come on. This is real talk. You want to get into action to have things shift in your life, to have these results. Raquel and I are being raw and real. Where are you in your life around reclaiming your power? Are you in this like contaminating? Where are you contaminating that part of your life? Or where are you contributing? Right? So Raquel just shared her story. I just shared my story. We would love to know something. I'm clear. Not everyone here is all like everything is beautiful like a birthday cake. You know, there's got to be, I know I like cake, but there are some cakes I don't like. So that is contaminating that part. We love to hear from you. And I'm going to throw this out here because guess what? One of the things that Raquel and I promised as we moved forward in the second half of the year is if you are interested in jumping on here, you want your 30 seconds, your $500,000 time, come. You write in that right now. Regina, Raquel, I want to be on screen with you. You type in that email, boom, if you know my phone number or Raquel's phone number, go. Right now, text us. I will send you that in your email, a private link. And come on for a couple of seconds. Let's go do that. Let's make it happen, right? I think
Hey,
Mark.
Mark said I'm in.
Whoop! All right, Mark. Raquel's going to speak for a couple of minutes while I go and email you the link. So go ahead.
So here's something else. We're talking about contributing and contaminating, and we're specifically focusing on areas of our life, right? And we're talking about reclaiming our power. Here's the thing that I've learned and I'm realizing is that some of us, most of us, we need to sit with something before we get in action with that thing. So some of you may have an idea of the area, but you want to sit with it. You want to be like a piece of meat marinating in whatever it is. And I'm listening to an audio book, and the example that Sarah Jakes Roberts gives is how many of you shop online? Raise your hand if you're an online shopper. I don't care if it's once or 100 million times, doesn't matter. How many of you, if you shop online, have like stuff in your cart just sitting there?
Me.
I know I do. I have tons of stuff sitting in my cart. My cart has like, I don't know, $1,000 worth of stuff in it. I don't purchase everything. Thank you, Chrissy. Chrissy's like me. Yes. And here's where the marination comes. Is that a word, marination? Here's where the marinating comes. Is we have all those things in our cart, but not everything we're going to purchase. We have to sit with all those items and think about what is it that we want and what is it that we need. And so part of taking back your power comes with knowing what is it that you want and what is it that you need. Everything we want, we don't necessarily need. And for me, that's how I operate because I love a lot of stuff on Amazon. I go click, 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 click. I don't have to purchase it, but I do have to sit sometimes in something and think about it and marinate with it before I can get in action and say, okay, let's click on the items we want. Before I say, hey, let me see, is this worth me, my time, my energy, my effort to get involved in whatever it is? So that's a part of taking back your power, is just marinating in whatever it is. And that's okay. Don't feel like you always have to rush in and I've got to do stuff. No, sometimes we have to sit and be still. And we've mentioned this before, and just marinate. And then we can get in action. And that's taking back your power.
I love
Does that make
that.
sense?
That like resonated so much because one of the things. Could Chrissy just write something? You can just throw that up on the chat before we get in there. Chrissy writes, ladies, this topic connects so deeply to a training I just took at Worth. Lou Tice, look him up. Thank you, Chrissy. Lou Tice. Like, listen, Chrissy, I'll send you that link too if you want to come on and say how that impacted you, right? Divine timing, of course, Mark. Just sent you the link if you're ready to jump on as well. But I love that because you just hit something that's so the contamination part. I love the word marinating. It was from one of my people, one of my mentors a while back as well. Joyce Pike. Shout out to Joyce Pike, right? Thanks, Chrissy, 21 Keys Training Pacific Institute. Awesome. Post that in our community. Chrissy, you're in our community, guys. Join our community. Rise and Thrive Together community. And you can get all these great extra beautiful resources. Joyce always talks about marinating, right? Like taking that time and marinating. And so one of my contaminations is when I just jump, right? Like I just jump not from a space of like when you know it, when you know intuitively, like somebody invites you to something and something really resonates, and in the past, like you just jump in knowing. Like I knew when you wanted to start this podcast, I was like, boom, I knew in my gut, let's do it. There's a difference between that and when you're like jump in without getting the facts, without kind of realizing, what's all happening around you. And sometimes that jumping in too quick, and then you sort of like go down. I marinate only when I'm angry. I love that, Chrissy. Chrissy, you're cracking me up. I love it. So true. Because that's perfect. I'm opposite Chrissy. That's the perfect example. I don't I need to marinate a little bit. Because sometimes my anger just goes straight out it, right? And just like lashes out. So I love that, kind of taking that breath and just marinating.
Mm.
What does Mark say? I believe we contaminate because of a hidden something, an unknown, and possibly not ready yet. Mm,
Yeah, that's why I've got tons of things sitting in my Amazon cart. I'm not ready yet for it.
absolutely. Absolutely. And whatever those, like you said, whatever those are, could be hidden. Some of them are straight up like I have it there. I know that, financially, I've got the priority, and those are not the top priorities, but I also don't want to forget Amazon cart is a great way to kind of like, uh, keep that present for me because I happen to shop on Amazon a lot. So it's like, there it is rather than looking at it on the phone.
Right.
Um, I didn't take care. Now we're talking about Amazon. I'm like, come on, Amazon, come and sponsor us. It was like we had Amazon Prime Day, right? So in that cart, when Amazon Prime comes up for those 2 days, I'm like, ooh, and I get to look at those. It comes right up onto my phone, and I can see, ooh, that's 35% off, 25. So those like marinating ones become like top priority. I love it. Now I'm hungry. I don't know. I want something.
So another thing, since we're talking about marinating, Chrissy said, but for me, I marinate, I do nothing, so it keeps me detox.
Mm, nice, Chrissy.
I think it's amazing, Chrissy, that you said that, and we thank you so much.
Yes.
But now that it's in your awareness,
Yep.
you're going to be convicted every single time. So you now have a powerful choice to make, and that is, are you going to continue on that path, which it may serve you? You may get something out of being stuck. And if it is not serving you, is it time for you to get in action? And marinate on that. If you're going to marinate on anything, you
Yeah.
know. And some things, the other part of it is it worth getting in action? You may not necessarily be stuck, but whatever it is you're marinating on, it may not be the time for you to get in action. And the only person that knows that is you. And if it is time to get in action, what's stopping you? Is it the F word? I didn't say the F bomb. I said the F word. Is it fear? Is it something else? And that's a conversation that you start to have with yourself because trust me, once we confess something, once we say something, we can't take it back. It's in the atmosphere. And now things are going to come our way to make us either get in action or stay marinating. And we have to make that choice, right? So, Chrissy, now you put it out there, you can't ever escape it. And you're going to find things coming at you. Some things you need to decide, am I getting in action or is this something worth waiting for? Kind of think of the Amazon cart. Is it something I need to buy now or is it something that I can buy later down the line? Okay?
I'm also going to add that, as you're like, it is important, right? It is important to take time and kind of think about things. But here's the thing, when you're in that, like Raquel said, you're in that, like, right at that moment, I'm too freaking await. I don't know what that is.
Aware.
Aware. Okay, thank you. Awesome, Chrissy. She is, yeah. Let me tell you, being aware, that's really amazing. There's a conversation, Chrissy. I think you're gonna remember this because we've talked about this throughout the show. I'm gonna ask everybody out there, ready? Look for the signs. Mark says, here you go. I love this. Everybody chiming in. Everybody has some conversation at one point in time of either to gain weight or lose weight, right? Gain weight or lose weight. If you're somebody who's looking to gain weight, or if you're somebody who's looking to lose weight. And if we can all just sit there and be honest and say, we know how to lose weight and we know how to gain weight, right? Looking at calories, looking at, eating, cutting out carbs, whatever that is for you, and then gaining weight, adding things that are more, maybe more meals, more heavier types of proteins, whatever that is. We all know how to do that. But when we completely complain about that, and then good, like, it's like big deal. The bottom line is knowing doesn't make a difference. That's why we are real talk, right? That's the knowing, real talk. But the next part is the actions. And so really when you got to be in action, and Raquel's been sharing her journey about her lifestyle and where she has taken it this whole entire time and where she's at for her losing weight, getting healthy, right? It's getting healthy. She made it a lifestyle. It's not just losing weight. It's a whole lifestyle, right? And that's like the awareness is that piece. And Mark, you're right. You can see the signs, but there's still that thing. Ooh, I love this. Here you go, Chrissy. We wrote affirmations in the training. We had to come up with what would the ideal, whatever, look like. What behavior would it feel like, and the emotion we would feel. It was pretty powerful. Ooh, I love it. So, what's your ideal, Chrissy? Love to know. Share with the people. What is your ideal? Now that you're like bringing out what you've been training for, and you're really excited about this training, which I'm now excited to look up, and I'm clear Raquel is too. What is the ideal that you want for your life? What did it look like? What's the behavior? What did it feel like? All of that emotion. So that's the work, right, guys? That's what we're talking about. We can talk this, but the action is then doing the work. And Chrissy gave the perfect example. Right. That particular training had her envision it, look at it, feel it, write it, the whole thing. I love it. That's awesome. But we're curious of what that is.
Absolutely.
So we can
And,
support
and
you.
what I want you guys to know, or we want you to know, is notice the common thread here and the common theme in your power. The power is there. It's not like you have to find it somewhere. It's this elusive power. It's not. It's already there. It's already in you, right? The question becomes, what's stopping you from setting that power free? It's there. Like people talk about resilience and where do I find it? Because I don't seem to have it and everybody else does. There. There's something stopping you from tapping into your power and living out your true purpose. Instead, we find all these other substitutes that has nothing to do with our purpose at all, and we're absolutely unhappy, and we don't know why. It's because you've put yourself in a position to feel powerless. How many of you feel powerful? And it could be something really small. I want you all to think, right? If you have to close your eyes and take a moment, think about a time, and it may seem small to you. I'm not asking about size. I'm saying think of a time where you felt powerful. You felt like you could conquer the world. You could do anything you wanted to, and no one could stop you. What did that look like? So we'll use Chrissy's training, but we know about it. What did it look like? What did it feel like? What did it taste like? Did you taste? Some people say I had a taste of power today, and oh, it tasted good. It didn't taste like dandelion, which is super healthy for you, but bitter if you eat it by itself. When is the time that you felt powerful? Because if you can remember that time and hold on to what that felt like, every single time you let something take your power or you think something is taking your power, you will go back to that time when you felt powerful and hold on to that feeling, and that can help you get through whatever it is that's trying to hinder you from letting your power flow. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Listen, we've talked about, we're wired a certain way, right? And we can go into this over. We've talked about this for, yep, another knowing. It is, Mark. Bottom line is we are all wired from lots of circumstances. Chrissy's saying it's a feel of failure. Ooh, always. See, there you go, Chrissy. That was beautiful. Like, it's a fear of failure. And then you're like, always. Like, that's it. That's the one. Awesome awareness.
Can
How
I
many?
jump in and switch something up with you? Can I
Yeah,
interrupt you for a second? Because
yeah,
it's important to follow it up with right behind Chrissy. Is it truly a power of fear, a fear
yeah.
of failure, or is it a fear of success?
I was
And
just, yeah.
then wondering to yourself, well, now that I've done this, what next? And I'm
Mm.
afraid of, well, what's next? And that's the success in it. So I don't want you to answer now, Chrissy, because you're going to give me something that's logical. And I don't want you to be logical. I want you to
Yep.
be genuine and authentic and true to yourself. So that's something you have to really do some introspection about and just think about. Okay? Go ahead, sis. Sorry.
No, that was awesome because it's exactly where it's at. There is so much research that says people say it's the fear of failure. There's like so much on that, the fear of failure. And really, here's what I'm going to throw a little bit different twists this on what I read was it's a fear, they say fear of failure, but really, or end, is, according to certain studies, is being responsible and being accountable for your success. Because then you got to be responsible for the actions that it takes. Let me marinate on that. That's great, Chris. You've got the marinate going. Love it. But it really is this opportunity to say, yep, Mark says it right here. Success brings up responsibility. That was the word. Thank you, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
So in my game with me. Because that's what we're talking about. You got to be responsible for that. And responsibility, let's be straight. Oh my God, that's such a great topic. Responsibility. You know, being responsible for self and everything else that goes along with it, it's much easier to say, I'm not going to take those actions. Oh, forget it. And then the mind goes, oh, I'm afraid and I can't and I don't know how. But I love that, Mark, because that's exactly right. Being responsible for what you want and what you say you want for yourself in your life.
Absolutely.
Oh, look at that. Ready? Mark writes, oh, Mark, jam. I wish you'd come on it creates a sense of being let down if there's no results, right?
Mm.
So you let yourself down. Go ahead. I know
So
you, I know.
I want to put this question out to Mark. And you said create a sense of being let down if there are no results. What if I create a sense of being let down anyway, even if there are results, but I'm not happy with the results?
Mm.
Because they're going to be results regardless, right? It's just what we deem as no results, but those are still results. So
And
I'm
they may not
interested
be the
in just
results like
hearing
you
your
said,
thoughts.
right?
I'm
Because
interested.
Mark says, say it again. So, Mark, you said success brings up a responsibility, right? And we were talking about responsibility, being responsible for what you say you want, whatever that is, right? Whatever you say you want, relationship, kids, job, money, car, I don't know, golf pro, all of that stuff, right? Success brings up a responsibility, which means there's some results that you want to be successful. And then you say, if you don't get it, you know, if you don't get the you don't get the results, there's no results, you're being let down, right? You're being let down. And Raquel's saying that here you go. Results, you can still get results and still be let down. You can. You can still have results and be
No
let down.
results is still a result.
Exactly. It's and my thing is what happens if you have specific results? So let's just use this show right now, right? We could say, boom, we're responsible for this show, and what we want is 100 viewers every single show. 100 viewers every single show. And we don't get it. We don't get it. Is that our success? Are we like successful? Are we a failure? For me, there's none. I don't know about you, sis. It's just the results are the results, and there are actions to take to do that up there. But I'm not going to say we're failures. Raquel and I are here every single week, right? Every single week we're here. There's actions to take, but I'm not going to say we're failures, the show's a failure, all of that. And we're responsible for that.
So Mark
And
said, yes, true, but my point is about the process.
so go for it.
What about the process? So I just need a little more. What do you mean about the process, Mark? It has to do with why you started. Okay. The good thing is you started. And see, here's the thing for me, is to try to find the positive thing in it. You started, you stopped. What made you stop is the question. Was it this fear of the whole process? Was it the fear of the results? Was it the fact that you may not get results? What was it that had you stop, right? Why you started, yeah, but your why could have changed too. And that's a whole other conversation that we can have on the why. About the weight, then
Then
the
the
tailwind. Well, shift your focus. Shift your focus. And I can speak from experience about that. For me, and my health journey, yeah, initially it was about the scale. Some days it still is about the scale, especially when I'm doing a challenge. But I never feel like a failure because every single time I go to the mirror, I see a different me, just physically, just looking. Not like, oh my God, every day I'm a different person. I am, but that doesn't mean anything, right? I see a different me. I feel healthier. So I look at there are different aspects of this healthy lifestyle for me. Before it was a healthy journey. Now it's a healthy lifestyle. And there are days like today celebrating my niece, I had cake and ice cream. Well, I hope my coach is not listening to this. I had cake and ice cream. Am I feeling like, oh my God, I'm a failure? I had cake and ice cream. It was damn good. It is not something I eat every day. And life goes on. Tomorrow, I may do strength training. I may not. I still don't think I'm a failure for having cake and ice cream. It's still called life, and I'm going to engage in it. But now I'm a lot more mindful as to how much. I didn't have seconds. Did I want to? Yes, but I didn't. So what we've got to start working on training our mind is to see what's the positive in it and not beat ourselves up. And even if we do beat ourselves up, don't live there. Don't stay there for days and hours and all of that. It was nothing. It was we've got to get past it and not dwell on something that can take us further down into what I call the rabbit hole. People may have a different definition of the rabbit hole. I'm not a failure for that. I worked damn hard to be able to have that cake and ice cream and not feel like, oh my gosh, that's 5 pounds on the hips. A moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips. That is so not true.
Yep.
If you're in action to do something about it, it is not going to be a lifetime on your hips, but it's all in how you see it.
But it's so perfect. It just so goes, it's just so goes to like what you were saying about our words create our reality and how it goes back to a lot of the conversations we're having of how we're wired, pre-wired with so many of these things that are like, fake it till you make it. That's one, right? Absolutely. Like you said, lips and hips, fake it till you make it doesn't work. It just does not in my I have literally spent many years in that space. And for me, that does not work. And there's a lot of studies that show that that all of that we've been wired and trained in by trained professionals and all of that have proven the research now has switched it around to say that that is very not healthy for you to fake it to make it. That's being inauthentic with yourself, your belief systems, your values, and all of that. And we've been worried about that. Same thing what you were saying about what did you say, the lips and the hips,
A moment on
right?
the lips, a lifetime on the hips.
You know?
No,
Okay. No, not true. A lifetime. That's not a lifetime, right? It's a moment, you
right.
know? And that's this, that. And Mark is bringing it beautiful. And this comes back to reclaiming our power.
Right.
And Mark, this is so great. I wish I had my little sticker I wanted to show Raquel today, because we've talked about this, about worth it. What comes down, is it worth it? Whatever that is. For me, it's always my self-worth, and then everything else that goes around those values and belief systems around what's worthy in my life for myself. I love this. This is so good, guys. We went from quiet to all
great conversation. Thank you so much, Chrissy, for sharing your training and the link. The link will be in our Facebook group. If you didn't get a chance, here's the link Chrissy posted. winningmindtraining.com. You can check that out. Mark, thank you for engaging and sharing your thoughts. And we truly appreciate it. So thank you all so much. And for those that wanted to say something, however, whatever it is, you didn't, feel free to drop it afterwards. It's okay. We won't read it on air. Maybe that's something, I don't know, but drop it. We just want to hear. We want to share. We always thank you. We do not take it for granted that you guys spend time with us on Monday nights, no matter how much time it is. We really and truly appreciate you for tuning in. We appreciate you for your support. And the conversation tonight was just absolutely amazing. So thank you all so much. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, together we can rise and thrive. Till next time.
Yes.
With peace, love, unity, and compassion. Time to bust this out and start this power.